What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the DFS 5-pack. Hope everybody's morning is going splendid so far. We are back for the tip of the day, session number 12. Obviously, as we talked about yesterday, took a couple of week hiatus, busy with the holidays, etc., like I'm sure most of y'all were. But now we are back with a little bit more time on our hands. Kids are back in school, etc., etc., etc. So let's talk some of these things over. I do think talking about this stuff is probably just if not more beneficial to your DFS game in the long term. Now, everybody wants the picks. I get it. Short term on a daily basis, I get how that helps more. But in the long term, learning these little details from people who have played this game every single day for 4, 5, 6 years can be really beneficial to your overall game. And that's what we're looking to do, guys. So as always, we sincerely appreciate all the support you give us, whether it's something as simple as subscribing to the channel, giving the thumbs up, signing up to be a customer. And just to reiterate, through the end of the day, we're running a little special for anybody who signs up through Patreon. Patreon is just simply a website we use for small dollar like pledges and donations from customers who just want to say, hey, I don't want a full, $30 or $350 lifetime package or anything like that. I just want to, buy you a cup of coffee every month and say thank you. Anybody who donates a minimum of $2 over the next 24 hours or so, we will go ahead and put you in a drawing to win a free membership. One of 7 will win. All right, and again, the monthly rebates are still up through the end of tomorrow, which is Friday, the 11th of January, 2019. Monthly $5 rebate, annual $20, lifetime $35. So let's move into what we're actually talking about today. I get a ton of questions about bankroll management, and quite honestly, it's a hard one to answer. First off, I can't tell you how much money you have. That's it's impossible. I don't know your situation. And even if I do know your situation, it's not really my business to tell you how much money to play for. That being said, there are tips that you can understand and ways that you can go ahead and manage your bankroll better. But even a lot of those things, it's just, loose rules, or some of them might be a little bit more firm, but having the actual human self-discipline to do those things and knowing them are two totally different things. I can't be there and tell you hey, man, no, don't advance your credit card to play DFS. I know it's a bad idea. It doesn't mean I wouldn't do something like that, or other people wouldn't. So that's kind of the human element that goes into it. But the key point of all bankroll management, and we could go on about this for hours, is never bet it all because you like one slate. Now, betting it all can mean different things for different people. Maybe you work on a strict budget and your wife only has, $50 that you're allowed to take out for DFS. If that's the only $50 you have, you may like the hell out of the slate, but don't play all $50 on it, because you just have absolutely no way to control a lot of the luck factors that go into any one given slate. And think about it from I played the 3 sports, football, baseball, basketball. Thinking about it in football, I was on a sick run for 3 years of, almost always winning. Last 10, 12 weeks has been the opposite. It has been horrible. And you just notice the little things, like if it's your running back, he gets downed at the 1 and then they throw it into with their chalky quarterback on the other side, or vice versa. Maybe you got the quarterback wide receiver combo. They hit a 68-yard play, but they get downed at the 1, and then the chalky running back you don't own scores a touchdown. So that's little things you can't control. In NBA, foul trouble, blowouts, things like that. There's a lot of factors that go into the situation. Baseball, starting pitcher can get blown up. Hell, even Max Scherzer and Chris Sale are not immune to getting blow up. It's rare, but it does happen. So, those little things are the reason that you just don't want to bet it all on one slate, because once it's gone, for some of you, that might just mean that it's gone. Now you can't play for weeks, all because you really. Now, the human side of us wants to. If you really like something, you want to go all in on it. I get that. And I'm speaking from experience, because quite honestly, I most recently did that. I mentioned the fact that on the worst run of NFL DFS I've ever had, but worst by a really, really big margin, probably about 5, 6 weeks ago, I had a slate that I liked a lot, and I played way too much on it. I can't remember exactly what happened, but obviously I didn't win, and my bankroll has suffered since then. And I shouldn't have done that, especially knowing that this time of the year, DFS providers like us, we're working on smaller income. Once the new year comes, we find a lot of people will bow out because of Christmas. Football's ending. New Year's resolution is not to gamble so much. So people kind of fall away, and it is a time that, throughout the industry, you lose customers because you're down to one sport, for example. So that's why I thought this would be kind of a good thing to talk about, because I've just done it. Now, I'm playing with smaller dollars than I have been for a long time. One, it's not like I couldn't put more money in. I'm just choosing not to at this point. Just because I said, like, there is less coming in, personal stuff. Like, we just spent a lot of money on Christmas, yada, yada, yada. The other part for me is stubbornness. And I'm sure some of you guys have gone through this. If you've ever built up your account in DFS, from like, say, $10 to $500, it's a pretty freaking good feeling. You feel like a big accomplishment. Now, it wouldn't be as much fun as turning 10,000 into 500,000, but I think you generally get the point right here. And most of you guys know I used to play poker for a living during the poker craze, which was great because most people had no idea what they were doing playing poker. That was so much easier than playing DFS, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. The point was, I think I went and bust one time when I was down to like $1.97 in my party poker account, and I think I turned that into like 5 or 10 grand or something like that. That was like a real point of pride for me for a long time. So it is kind of fun to try to take yourself off the mats and build it up from a small dollar, but it's really not an easy thing to do. And ultimately, you're probably going to end up going bust again, especially because we have a tendency to get more aggressive, to want to pull it all on the line. Because if you're used to playing for $100 a day and all of a sudden you're playing for 10, it's not quite the same rush. It's really difficult. The human side of that can really come in for people. I get that. I feel like I'm a little better because I just enjoy the game more than most people, but I know it's not. I mean, for me, if I'm entering a $100 double up or a $5 double up, it's not quite the same thrill, obviously. So the key point I wanted to get across here is if you're on a pretty strict bankroll management, you just don't want to put it all in on one slate. And sometimes I think that's difficult for some people to understand. And I was talking to Matt about this yesterday. I can live through a pretty unique perspective because I've been a commission sales rep since I was, 23 years old. And I've had some really good times and I've had some really bad times. Like, I know what it's like to make 20 grand in a month and feel like, man, this is never going to stop. I got all the money coming in. I also know what it's like to literally not make $1 in a month and feel like, man, I would do anything for $1.19 right now to go buy a chili cheese burrito from Taco Bell just so I could eat tonight. So I feel like I got a unique understanding of both sides that not everybody's capable of understanding, but that's where the self-management and the understanding your own bankroll really comes in, because that's something nobody else could really ever answer for you. I don't know if you got $500K in the bank or $5 in the bank. That's not really for me to know. It's not my business. So that's enough. I think I've rambled on long enough, but bankroll management is a big part of this. And ultimately, there's a lot of things you can do, but the human restraint aspect is something that only you can control. All right, guys, if you're new to the station, the easiest way to get more DFS videos, you press that red button that says subscribe. As always, we do sincerely appreciate the thumbs up. It helps to spread us around YouTube. Have a good day, and we'll see you in a little while for your regular scheduled DFS advice.